Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here, and this is not a two-man. None of those were firing. This hand is, on second glance, not as good as I thought it was. This is a tournament practice game just to kind of take a look and see where things are. I'm going to go ahead and drop this and see if I can get my opponent to plop down and no days. Debating on what we're playing against here, this could be. Just by seeing this duel, I'm going to think it's Canadian Thresh, in which case his hand is okay. Not the greatest, but, I mean, whatever. Um, I'm going to keep the Wasteland just in case it is, and I'm actually going to drop the Mazavith, even though I have absolutely no way to stop them from doing much. If he fetches, I'll fetch, and I'm going to fetch out basic Swamp. If he doesn't fetch, then he can't daze, and nope. Hypergenesis! Ooh, kinky. Wonder why he didn't just misdirect pitching the force, but that's okay. Yeah, our hand is absolutely terrible versus this deck, by the way. Um, he's got this in hand. He's only got one more before he can actually do something there. Our hand is so bad right now. Yeah. I wish I could make them discard this. That would probably not really buy that much time. I'm gonna get rid of the Hydra. This just feels bad. I'm gonna get rid of his haste ability. I'm gonna lose to the Hydra. That's what I'm gonna do. So we don't have to worry about wastelands from him. We can fetch out our non-basics. Something that I've been forgetting to do a lot of the time. Um, if you're playing against a deck that you know doesn't have Wasteland, Blood Moon, Price of Progress, back to basics, or anything that can really affect you in that sense, it's okay to fetch out your non-basics. Alright, and I'm actually going to play this just in case if he finds a way to play his Hypergenesis this turn, I'd rather draw the card. I'm going to get 2 extra lands and the Batterskull in play. So, I think I'd still rather just draw the card. I know that's a little bit of ways from being able to fetch out the whatchamacallit, but so be it. Green Sun Zenith, that's not going to be as helpful. Then again, next turn I can Zenith for Knight. Yeah. Like, at least Knight will have some body to him. Or her. Um, the turn after that, I can play the Batterskull. Our opponent's still just drawing cards, which is not exactly something I'm too interested in. My opponent drawing cards seems better for them than for me. I haven't actually had a chance to play against this new variation of it. There's 2 people in my meta that have the deck built, and I don't know how people are ending up with 4 of this cards without buying 4 of that stupid deck. But this card is it's pretty good in the deck. Alright, so there goes the Progenitus. Yay, my opponent did not want to have to deal with that. I actually don't want that Scavenging Ooze on the top of my deck. So we're just going to go ahead and fetch out at end of turn. Opponent's still missing that 3rd land is kind of interesting, or else they don't want to suspend it. And Savannah. Top. Don't want either of these. Well, I guess I'll take the Stoneforge Mystic reshuffle. Wonder why he didn't use the misdirection. He must have another force in hand. Again, I'm assuming all of my opponents are males, just for the simple fact that there are a lot of men that play Magic. There's a Knight. And a Bob. I can play the Knight this turn. Next turn I can play the other thingy in my hand. Pretty sure that my opponent has already figured out that I probably have the Don't end of turn me. Thank you. Probably have the Caracas in my deck now. Probably have the Batterskull in hand. So my opponent probably does know my hand. And next turn, because we have 6 mana, we're going to try and get this down into play. The Bob would be nice, but can we do all of it? 2 land or top draw 2 leaves us 1 up, so I can even figure out what my turn after is going to be. This is too much time to have given this deck, but they are going pretty slow. Let's just hope that they don't have another Maelstrom Wanderer right now. The good news is that Progenitus is the biggest threat. Gristlebrand does allow them to draw 7, but he's already got 1 Hypergenesis in hand, unfortunately for him or her. So, as soon as they figure out what they're going to go for. If we get the Knight active, we can at least bounce the Maelstrom Wanderer, who is a legend. Yep. So you can only have 1 of them in play. And then that'll stop the other 2 from being able to do too much. Don't have the Wanderer. Violent Outburst. Would have really, really, really liked to have that. Alright, so there's Progenitus. Maelstrom Wanderer. No Emrakul. Don't care too much about that. Alright, so we should be able to actually win this now. Maelstrom Wanderer comes over and hits us. Next turn we re-equip to the Knight, take out his Volcanic Island, and start smashing face. I can live with that. Let's see, if he holds back, we just equip to the bird. Yeah. If he does attack in with both of them, yeah, it's equipped to the Knight. Smash him. He's got to leave 1 of them back. So we should be fine at this point. And we get to hook up the Jit to whatever. So, well, not next turn. Depending on what happens, we may. I think he's just realizing that, hey, look, if he swings with this, I get to hit him back for just as much. Alright, so second one is in his hand. Still going to go with this plan. Next turn we fetch out the Caracas, or this turn we fetch out Caracas. And bounce the Wanderer. And that should deal with this. Unfortunately for him, he's got the second Hypergenesis. You know what? I'm going to keep calling him man because he's a caveman. They're a very proud species. There were female cavemen, but cavemen. Yeah, that just sounds weird. Alright, by the way, we switched over to the microphone. There was an annoying tapping that I received many a death threat comment, and no, there weren't death threats. Comments and personal messages via YouTube. Let's see here. How do we want to do this? 12. I think what we're going to do is just this section here. And I'm actually going to turn this land. And the only reason I'm not using the Caracas is because only the Progenitus can swing on that very first turn. So there's no point in me actually doing anything else there. Yeah, I think we're good to grab basics here. So our bird has become a lethal killing machine. We can deal with 2 legends. He can't swing with the Progenitus yet. He needs another land in order to actually be able to suspend the Hypergenesis. And bird should be enough to take it at this point. Yeah, because we can attack with everything next turn. What do I want? 1 or 2 lands? You know, I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while. We're just going to siphon through a little bit more of our deck. Oh yeah, I forgot Batterskull gives Vigilance. Could have probably swung last turn with everything. No, that wouldn't have done it. This turn it does it. Next turn we get to move the Batterskull and swing for lethal. So we're going to grab the Forest. We're going to set the Batterskull over here. Oh! Yep, pay attention to what you're doing. No, we're not going to do that. Whoopsies. You guys can laugh at me in the comments. Let's go ahead and shuffle. And let's try this then. Oh, so if we lose this one, I guess it's a good thing that we decided to go into the practice room, and I guess it's a very good thing that nothing else was firing. Still shouldn't lose this one in theory. The bird's got 2 charge counters. Only 2? Oh, bleh. Guess what? Yeah. Did I tell you that it's like 11 o'clock in the morning and I'm used to working overnights? Alright, we're going to get back in the game. We're going to remember these things. 0-1, 0-1. Oh, that's terrible, terrible. Alright, so our opponent suspended the Hypergenesis. Now we can do this. Okay, Batterskull, equip. Stoneforge Mystic, pay 5. Bird, pump. Twice. Alright, so the game that should have ended last turn just now ended. I feel like, yeah, that was kind of bad. Let's see, convert mana cost. This will at least make things cost a little bit more, hopefully. Completely pointless. We'll be able to steal his enablers. Is that really all that we have? I mean, if we can catch an enabler, these will be good, but yeah, I think that's really all that we have. Pulses seem the least useful. They don't kill many of the creatures. At least the swords are instants. Progenitus can't be hit. Can't hit Emrakul. Can hit the Wanderer, but I can hit the Wanderer. I can hit the Wanderer. I can hit the Wanderer. More so, the Wanderer. Let's see. You are actually very pointless. Is there... I think that's much better. These are terrible. These will be better. Is there anything else? I'll try not to make that hissing sound again. I'd like to have the other 2 of these, but I don't know if there's anything else. Like, this doesn't seem very good. This doesn't seem very good. But they're both bodies. 15 bodies? I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm bringing in 2 creatures, and they're not going to get much bigger ever anyway. So let's see how this works out. This hand is interesting. It's slower, but I'll give it a shot. I mean, I have a discard spell. He's probably got a misdirection. As long as he doesn't first turn me, at least have a possibility. That deck doesn't play Daze, so... Show and Tell, Shardless Agent, Gristlebrand. That's not as fun as it may seem. Wish I had that Thoughtseize. I guess at this point right here, I'd actually like to take the Shardless or the Show and Tell. I don't know. I'd like the Shardless Agent. At least we'll only be dealing with one thing. Yeah, we're probably going to switch back to the Thoughtseizes. So, depending on what our opponent does, we can't Show and Tell in. Ouch. Well, you can Show and Tell in the second land, so that will at least be helpful there. We'll find out what our opponent does when he draws his cards. Do we let the first draw resolve, or do we start trying to swords right there? We start trying to swords at his end step. Probably should have fetched beforehand as well. Alright, so now we want the scrubland. Only forces work at this point for him. He's only got one land, so we can pay for any days that he goes for. Alright, Gristlebrand is gone. He's only going for 7, so he'll have a fresh hand of 7. The unfortunate thing is that that probably means that we are dead. I don't know, if I were him, I think I would have gone for the extra cards. Land. Rough spot. I wish that there were 2 different pictures, that way I could compare and be able to tell which Inquisition it was. So, Diamond, let's see. Any chance? Yep. Well, let's hope that he, unrealistic expectations. Let's hope that our opponent does not have a Shardless Agent or a, Violent Outburst. There we go. Kept thinking Cascade Bluffs. That is the wrong card entirely. Alright. Down goes removal. If this is out here, well, he doesn't need it. He's already got his 3. But apparently either doesn't have one thing or the other. Still baiting forces. If he forces now, his maximum hand size goes to 5. If he doesn't, he needs the land. Oh. That could be happening as well. Don't care to go through that step. So, what all are we dead against? Hypergenesis, Emrakul, Gristlebrand, Fairy Spirit, or Elf Spirit. We're done. let's see, let's see. There is nothing in here that I really want. So, I want that other Thoughtseize. We'll definitely put that back in. That was a mistake to take out. We'll see what happens as things go. Things that I do know that this deck does bring in, I think it's got Leyline of Sanctity. There we go. Yes, I'd like to play first because I'd like to have a possibility. And no, I'm not mulliganing this hand. He's gone to 6, which means he's gone to 4. Alright, so first, second, I want to be able to take any card first. That way, if he does misdirect it, I can get rid of the bird. There's a show and tell. Let's go get this scrubland. And the reason I'm doing this so fast, and I'm going to end up taking this thing, is because I want to land the Bob. Alright. If we're lucky, we can draw a land, but we're not, so let's go ahead and get that out there. Completely forgot what his hand was already. Typically, I remember these things, but that's okay. Go ahead and F4, since that's what I've been being told on Facebook. We're lucky anyway. Let's go put this knight down into play. He has had time enough to draw a Force of Will, but I don't think he has. And he would have needed the blue card as well. Otherwise, he just has the Grunt or the Spirit Guide. Keep thinking Simian Grunts. If you don't know, that's from the original junk lists. So, fun times there. Alright. This is at least a 5-5. Unfortunately, if he draws another one of these, it still dies. Drew the Hypergenesis. Alright. Well, he now knows that we have surgical extraction. He's probably wondering why we have surgical extraction. Must do things. Must do all things. I'm actually going to play the bird. You know, I should have taken out one of the Mystics, or even both of the Mystics, over the Ooze and Pride Mage. The debate on whether or not to attack with Knight. I think at this point, yes. We just want to get the damage out there and in his face. Oh boy. Ah, okay. Cool, cool. That I can live with. Deal. Yep, that's the game. He saw Liliana. His hand size is already 3, so even when this goes off in a couple of turns, like, it's not going to do much. If he does discard any big creature, I let him draw his card. I wait for this to go off, and then, or try and do something, and then I surgical extract it. Runs the risk of being misdirected to something in my yard. But this, like, in real life, I guess they decided that you can't leave the cards in the graveyard. But online you can, and you can. It's just a shuffle effect online. Let's see. Choose target card in a graveyard other than basic land. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, library, any number. Graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as card and exile them. And then player shuffles a card. I was under the impression that you cannot fail to find from public zones. A revealed hand being a public zone, graveyard being public zone, and in play being public zone. I was under that impression, but apparently, because of the way this card works online, I don't believe that's an issue. Um, Anybody that's a judge or knows a judge that's knowledgeable on this, because I'm a judge and that's the way that I thought it was. Guess I'm wrong. Please let me know. Feel free to enlighten the rest of us on that. Are you allowed to fail to find in public zones? Like, according to the last thing that I heard was the tournament this past weekend. This is pre-release weekend when I'm recording this. M13 pre-release weekend, and I don't remember what last weekend where the Star City thing was, since there's one every week. But I think that I remember hearing something during that coverage about them saying that you're no longer allowed to fail to find from public zones. So, or that you're no longer allowed to fail to find from public zones. So, yeah. Wait, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So, yeah, never mind. Whatever. We're all on page. I will see you guys next one. Have a